Welcome to this exciting podcast where we explore the incredible world of drone technology industry and its impact on e-commerce, healthcare, and logistics industry. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Vikram, who is the founder of a cutting edge drone technology startup who is revolutionizing the way businesses operate. His company, TechEagle Innovations, is creating waves in the industry by creating innovative solutions that are transforming the logistics and delivery processes of businesses while also creating a positive impact in the healthcare industry. Throughout our conversation, we'll dive deep into his journey, including his inspiration for starting Tech Eagle, the challenges he faced along the way, and the successes so far. We'll also explore the impact Tech Eagle is creating in the healthcare industry using their technology, which is being used to deliver critical medical supplies in remote and hard to reach areas. In addition, we'll examine the impact Tech Eagle is creating on the logistics and e commerce industries where their technology is streamlining the delivery processes, reducing costs, and enhancing the overall efficiency. We'll explore ways in which Tech Eagle is staying ahead of the competition in this highly competitive industry and their plans for the future. So sit back, relax, and join us on this fascinating journey as we explore the cutting edge technology and thought behind Tech Eagle Innovations. Let's get started. Okay, cool. Hello, Vikram. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thanks, Aryan, for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. So we'll begin the podcast now. And like to begin with, like I'll ask you like what exactly like your could you tell me more about Tech Eagle and like what does it do in the drone industry specifically?
So, I think I would tell you why we started and how we started. That is more important that why we are doing what we are doing. So, there were two reasons basically that personally and as well as once we discovered some of the problems around accessibility, that right now there is no access to healthcare, to e-commerce and logistics equally to each and every corner of the world. And that because of that, even me personally have lost my own elder sister, uncle to cobra bite, because there was not anti-venom available or concept even known to the local doctors. And to the loss of blood, I lost my elder sister as well, because there was not enough accessibility of the healthcare. That actually led us to discover that what is the kind of the problem this is and how big it is. And when we figured out that it is the problem of basically logistics, that even if let's say today you discover that there is a need and a prescription can be given for an healthcare this thing, a diagnostic has been done, then ultimately you need to collect that sample, you need to diagnose that, and then you need to send the right medication. Or if there's a loss of blood, you need to send that blood which is not available at that particular phc, chc hospital, private hospital, government hospital. And you imagine that even in COVID, we have lost around off record 20 lakh lives altogether. On record, it is less than 6 lakh. Every single year, we are not able to collect the blood which can meet India's demand. We are collecting, I think, 30-40% lesser than the demand which is. And out of the collected, we are wasting 30%. 30% means more than 6.5 lakh units of blood. One unit of blood can save 3 lives. So every year we are, by mismanaging the blood, give basically losing the opportunity of saving 20 lakh lives. Now imagine that people are not focusing on that. Every single day, 75 women are dying because of the complexities in post pregnancy, loss of the blood. So basically, to solve this larger problem, to create the universal access, we are building world's first on-demand drone logistics airline to basically cater to the last mile and mid mile, and 50% of the time and cost goes in a last mile. And last mile logistics, which can be ranging from 3 kilometer to 100 kilometer in India, that last leg we are automating by centralizing the logistics, by creating the end-to-end technology to enable that airline in indigenously in-house. And with that vision, in this particular journey, we are able to basically play roles on the regulatory side of it, technological development side of it, and as well as the market commercialization of that entire technology to create this kind of impact with that kind of vision we started. So this has been what we are doing, why we are basically doing.
Right. So you mentioned these problems that in the healthcare industry. So how will drone technology address these issues, and what are the advancements that are happening in the situation right now?
Basically, what happens right now when you let's say visit any part of Meghalaya, Nagaland, Manipur, northern states, and the rural part of the country, which is like 60% plus people is residing in those areas. They, if they need, let's say, anti-venom, right? Even if, let's say, somebody is bringing it, let's assume that that has been established that somebody is sending it. How much time it will take to reach? So for a 90-kilometer kind of a distance by road, when there is no rain, there is no landslide, it takes more than 7, 8 hours, and sometimes more than a day, because sometimes you need to trek, sometimes you need to go crossing the river, and if there is a flood in the river, you cannot go. There is no accessibility at all. So with the drone that we have built, why we have built the drone is that there is no drones available globally which can serve these kind of the complex needs in terms of the geography, environment, and the terrain, which can basically send that parcel on demand. On demand means basically first golden hour. Let's say you need something, and the first 1 hour is a golden hour of that particular requirement, and you need to send that particular parcel within that. So we built Asia's largest, fastest, and longest range drone, which travels in a single charge 100 kilometer, that too in less than 60 minutes. And that has been designed in a way that it can meet that particular need. And we are able to deliver in 29 minutes. That was taking more than 8 hours. So basically delivering 25x faster, that too on a carbon neutral vehicles. Basically there is negligible carbon emission because we are on a fully electric fleet, and that too on a 25% cost saving at a state healthcare level. And that is the kind of the impact the drone technology, because of the drone technology we are able to harness that by doing a lot of R&D in last 5 to 7 years, deploying the robust, safe, and secure solutions. So that's how we are creating that impact and solving that problem.
Right. So basically, like, whom do you collaborate with in order to provide these services? So do you like partner up with some organizations as such to operate?
So basically, TechEagle is a currently B2B, B2G business where we are enabling the government departments and the organizations such as with the World Bank, kind of public health departments of the states, Department of Animal Husbandry, India Post for that matter. We have done projects and delivery projects with all of these clients. So basically, we are enabling their backend, that they have already that need established, supply chain established, and we are able to transform their last mile supply chain today. In B2B, we are able to partner with the companies like G9 company. Then we are able to partner with Swiggy and basically solve their last the supply chain of their backend or of their dark stores basically, and giving them the efficiency. These businesses are not getting profitables. A lot of other businesses in this particular e-commerce and hyperlocal space, and they are burning a lot of money, which is not sustainable in long term. We have to eventually provide economical solutions to that need. If even if I'm sending a parcel 25x faster and saving a life, right? That can be a scenario. But if there is no cost comparison when you're saving a life, but in general, when you're transporting each and every e-commerce parcels, that's where you need to look at the economical and sustainability as well. And at Tech Eagle, because we are developing everything in house, we are able to produce drones at a 1/10th cost of any global average drone of the similar or subpar categories. And we are able to basically provide the life cycle more than any other drone that could have provided in a similar category. That is actually making us more economical and sustainable, and that's why all of the clients and the partners are going ahead with the with TechEagle because we are providing, first of all, the highest capability to centralize at a lowest cost, safe, and reliable. While a lot of other people are just trying to import, let's say, Chinese drone, which are made for agriculture, convert them for a delivery, and then crashes and other things will happen. These things are normal when the technology is emerging. That might happen, but when you are doing carelessness, right, that you are importing a drone which is made to fly at a 10-meter height to spray pesticides in a farmland where there is no risk, and those are getting converted in a beyond visual line of sight drone operations where you cannot see the drone. In agricultural land you can see the drone and control it, but when you are sending 100 kilometer away, 50 kilometer away, or 20 kilometer away also, you cannot see that particular drone. And that's where basically technology has to be robust. And that's where basically TechEagle, for example, recently we have won that Qualcomm Design India Challenge to create a one of the kind of 5G drone delivery communication basically, and that will enable the overall ecosystem as a technology. So uh, yeah.
Right. Okay. So you mentioned these issues, the security issues about the drone as well, right? So like, how do you ensure the security of your drone and its safe travel throughout the like its project or whatever when it's flying?
Basically, first of all, when you are building a drone or even buying a drone, right? You need to ensure that in which environment you will be operating, right? Will it be a hilly terrain? Will it be a high wind terrain? Will it be high altitude or sub-zero degree temperature? So depending on the country's habitat, that where all our people are living throughout the country, we have very diversified geography, right? We have coastal areas, we have high wind areas, we have high altitudes, we have minus 10 or minus 15 degree kind of habitat in the country, and disconnected where the elevations of the hills is like 2 kilometer, 3 kilometer. Just between these two locations there might be a hill which is like a 2 3 kilometer height, and you need to cross and deliver that kind of a thing. So basically, if companies and startup like TechEagle, if they are not building the drones for the right geography, right environment, that's the first mistake that people are doing. So at TechEagle from the day one, because of our deep tech background from IIT Kanpur, as well as having the more than 10 year of experience, we are able to build those solutions over the time in last 3 4 years. Those are robust. That is the first approach. When you're building these solutions, there are safety and security aspects that somebody can hack it, somebody can temper it. So you need to build those safety aspects on hardware, on software level. Sorry. When you are basically thinking that okay, there has to be redundancies. If one motor fails, what will happen? If communication between your drone and your ground control station, that link gets off, right, on one communication channel, you have to have redundancies. So for example, TechEagle has built a redundant propulsion system. Our aircraft technology is a fusion of helicopter and fixed wing, like it's a helicopter and Airbus 320 kind of a thing, fusion. So vertical takeoff and landing actually reduces the entire infra requirement. You can see me in my background, right? That is the kind of the smallest place we require to take off and land vertically, and then it automatically transitions to the fixed wing mode and travels the larger distance at a high speed for a long range. And that's what, again, when we are delivering, we land vertically. And basically with that technology, if one propulsion system fails, another automatically takes care of it. Communication one fails, another automatically takes care of it. So there has been enough safety layers built in the entire aircraft, which is more than 8 layers.
So
And that's where we are able to build that confidence in the ecosystem holders, stakeholders, be it government, be it regulators, and sustainably and reliably in all of our operations we are able to basically fly. And yes, obviously it is a technology, and it will keep evolving, right? So we are learning from the experiences of others as well, and thousands and thousands of testing flights that we do for our technology, and that is very important. If you do not have the data enough, you will not be able to evolve your systems. So this is how we are able to tackle, and we are working on some of the basically technologies which we will open in a time to come, which will enable the larger ecosystem basically to have the safety security ensured, and that too not with the heavily regulated stuff, but with the self compliance, and that self compliance which actually promotes entire thing, ease of doing operations in business.
right. This is one curious question that I have. Like these airplanes have or something called orange box. So do drones as well have something, some device that monitors each and every data of its travel?
So basically, there are, I mean, now it depends on multiple OEMs, right? So we are a OEM who builds these drones and then deploy in our airline, right? So we build multiple layer of data. So one is like a that you are transporting your data directly, right, live, and you are storing on device as well. Then there is a what you are calling, right, that orange box or black box that people call it. You basically put that as a redundancy. That even that is a fireproof, that is a crash proof kind of a thing, right? So yes, we have enabled that, and that actually help investigate that particular issue, right? It can be technical, it can be there can be a human error, or there can be any other reason, right? And we have to investigate to learn to evolve our overall ecosystem and solutions,
Yeah.
and to promote the safety and security. So yes, we are enabling that as a practice.
Right. Okay. That's cool. So, like, how do you see the drone technology evolving in the next like decade, and what innovations will be significant enough?
Imagine that right now as a deep tech, right? So AI is one part of that,
Hmm.
blockchain, and then the vision, right? 5G, and then eventually hardware technology that enables your safe and secure communications, autopilots, sensor technology, right? Ancillary technologies. In next 5 to 10 years, all of these technologies, sector by sector, be it automobile sector where the autonomous cars have been, let's say, started to come in, right? The space technology, your deep tech in terms of the AI vision, all of these technologies in multiple industries are basically changing some things. Now imagine that in next 5 to 10 years, all of the entrepreneurs and the companies will harness all of these technologies together as a bundle of solution. And then imagine that your drone having the capability of flying hundreds of drones in a swarm together, which is completely run, decided, and operated and synced with the AI, 5G in terms of the communication and satellite communication. And then basically that is entirely operating fully autonomously. Now, when that will happen, you will be able to crack the operations of such, for example, there is a disaster and you need, there is a downtime of the network. You need to create the communication network in that area. You fly hundreds of drones in that particular area simultaneously, create a web of network, and immediately basically help responders, right? The disaster response teams to identify, to surveil, and basically to give that kind of a response to that particular calamity. And this is the kind of the impact we will be able to bring by these kind of the technologies, having drone at a center in coming 5 years or so. You will be able to see that your deliveries accessibility has increased superbly by companies like TechEagle. And then eventually, in 10 years timeline, as you have touched upon 10 year as well, you'll be able to see that these autonomous drones and so-called air taxis in eVTOLs are transporting humans as well from point A to point B, and that too in India with indigenously developed air taxis. So that is the kind of the vision with the drone industry and the technology is moving forward.
Right. And like it said, every man-made thing has its advantages as well as its disadvantages. So, like, what potential drawbacks do you see that will be widespread in drone usage that can be addressed, and how can they be addressed?
Basically, there are two type of players. One is like a bad player and a good player. Now, what has happened in the country is that there has been a self-compliance and the ease of overall regulations for the good players. Now, there can be bad players, even if there is a harshest compliances, right? Bad player will not comply, right? He'll build something DIY and then they'll create some kind of nuances, right? And then ultimately, you have to address those. So that's where government and the startups are coming up with the anti-drone. First of all, having build the kind of technologies that will address such attacks or such issues. So simultaneously, on both the aspects, the work has been aggressively going on, while all of the good players build the robust technologies. So somebody cannot misuse those drones. Somebody, if they are intending to build the drones from ground up with the open source technologies, they are able to do that, right? So we can mitigate those risks while ensuring that the drones which are approved and certified are not giving a backdoor to countries, neighboring countries like China and all, and addressing those safety aspects already in built in their design and in built in their systems. So that is how I see that the address to this particular problem is happening.
Right, right. I mean, it's interesting you mentioned that. So, like, what other ethical considerations are required when following this drone technology?
It's basically about individual. No, it's not about government, right? People are using drones. The operator is a person, common person. Companies, I mean, also are run by common people, right? So eventually it is about their ethics and moral values, that somebody who is using that drone, for example, for a recreational purpose, for shooting a video or a photograph, right? Now if that particular person has an intention to invade somebody's privacy, that should not be the way. When somebody is building that particular drone, ulterior motives should not be there, because it has a larger impact on the safety, security, and the privacy. And for example, in the entire aircraft design, from the day one, we have eradicated the problem of having a camera which will run continuously and transmit also, even the if it is not recording, it is not even streaming any footage, even not putting that kind of information in vulnerability. And that is how the ethics and the moralities with these kind of the technologies has to be there in all of the startups and the companies, at least that we can address. They build these kind of things and solutions which protects the privacies by design, right? And it has to be done by startups and the OEMs, and then the service providers and operators. That will eventually shape up the habits of the consumer as well.
Right, right, got it. So, like now, let's deep dive into more about Tech Eagle and the team that is working behind Tech Eagle. So, like, who all are at Tech Eagle right now?
Basically, I mean, we are a good, happy family of around 40 members, and which has people who are crazy and passionate about building certain technologies to impact the masses in a positive way. And everybody at TechEagle with the 100% affirmation, what I can say is very unique. They love what they are doing. Either they are in a hardware technology, software technology, operations, business, HR, be it any function. That particular person who is having that particular work is loving that work. And that you could see, even if, let's say, sometime you come and interact to our team at our office, you'll be able to see that they love what they are doing. So it's not that they are doing something else. And motive, first motive is not the money. Whoever is working at TechEagle. First motive is to basically build something incredible, which basically creates this kind of a universal access. And the vision alignment is superb. So I think that's been the kind of the culture at TechEagle.
Right, and like, when did you begin Tech Eagle? Like, what was the phase in your life back then?
So basically, I was doing a lot of R&D while doing BTech in IIT Kanpur, and used to participate in various international national competitions. Have won many of them as well. And that was the phase when basically we had proven that entire technology on certain scale in different challenges, and we were basically addressing these kind of problems in our personal lives. And then that's where we decided that, okay, I mean, these are the problems which we are facing, and we see that there is a potential solution. So there are both the ends are meeting. That there is a problem large enough to address, which is close to us, and there is a solution which is we are very passionate about, and that can solve that large problem. And we are basically not that we are doing something. We are just intermediary, right? That there is a technology and somebody gave as an access to us, right, while this journey, and we are having that capability potential to address that large problem and solve it. And that's why we started TechEagle in 2015, incorporated later on in 2017, and since then the journey has been ups and downs. We started when the drones are completely banned. You imagine that you're starting a business which is banned at that time, and you have that kind of a affirmation and the commitment to this particular technology, this particular problem. And we have faced that particular entire journey. Now, for anybody who is coming at this particular stage, The forum is open, the rules are easier, space have been open, demand started to generate. So as a first mover, as a pioneer of this particular space, drone delivery specifically, we have seen our fair, let's say, the share of challenges, and we are able to lead this thing by example also. And now that actually has given us, not that we are a pioneer and leader, but we have the pioneer leader and have a larger responsibility now, that we always have to fulfill those commitments that we have set, those bars, those standards, we have to keep increasing them. So we are also evolving, and the entire industry is also evolving. So that's what basically is happening right now.
Yeah. You mentioned the part that you began when the drone industry was banned. Like that was pretty interesting. Like I was reading this one article. It said you have to start a business that doesn't work. It should work 5 years from now. If it's like working today, you will start working on it, and then gradually, like it'll take 1 or 2 years to get in flow, and then after that, you will start making money. But like if you're working on a project or a business that is like futuristic in mind, so like once it becomes a reality, you will be profitable.
I mean, I
Yeah,
definitely believe what you're saying, and I hope that the investor community and the overall the community which enables the startups, right, should also believe in that. That if somebody is trying to build a solution which will work 5 years after, right, the R&D has to be started right now. The
exactly. Yeah,
commercialization, then only you will be able to lead, and that winning horse you will able to basically nurture. Now
yeah,
people are basically investing in the businesses which are okay, how much revenue you are generating today, how much growth next year and next year you will have. And that mindset difference is only the one thing that is stopping India to surpass the Silicon Valley. We have more potential than Silicon Valley, but not that trust and belief of the investors community that Silicon Valley has. And if that one thing can be solved, I think definitely India will lead next decades to come.
yeah. So like, what are your future plans at Tech Eagle now?
Future plans at TechEagle, before basically I start that conversation of future plans, there are people, uh, organizations, like, for example, which led these movements, right? For example, Drone Federation of India, which also co-organized Bharat Drone Mahotsav, right, where Prime Minister Modi ji was a chief guest. So these organizations basically was a face to people like many of the companies in the industry, which are OEM, which started when the drones were banned, right? Having this kind of a journey, having a little bit of the contribution. And these organizations needs to basically be given enough credit, which actually led these transformations in country. And then now ultimately taking it to the global level, taking it to the that vision, that is a larger collective vision. There is a huge demand, there is a huge space, huge business. There is no competition between the players which are operating, for example, in India, because there is a larger market globally which needs to be catered to. And this, there is a huge demand. It cannot be met by maybe 10 or 15 players in one application. And right now there are a couple of, and still we have to basically start approaching that collaborative approach within the ecosystem if we want to actualize that vision of global drone hub by 2030. So having said that, towards that vision, as a tech eagle, what are our plans? And to address your question, is that continue building the technology and the capabilities which are required to address this global need of the accessibility to healthcare, logistics, and e-commerce, while basically keeping the safety, security as an paramount importance, and then basically building it out of India, a little innovation, and then expanding it globally. And in this particular journey, enabling, let's say, the young entrepreneurs which are now trying to think to come in the drone space to solve specific pain points of communication, the autopilot, the sensory technology, and a lot of things which India does not produce today. So people need to basically come with that kind of a vision that okay, I need to particularly have a passion about solving, let's say the optical side of it, detect and avoid, or the communication technology. And then I have a huge opportunity ahead of me where these technologies will enable millions and millions of drones flight, impacting in different areas every day. So TechEagle is building all of those, let's say, the components or pillars to enable itself, and as well as the ecosystem overall larger at a larger level, where as a common person, you will be able to receive safely and securely your any kind of the parcel, right, with the
Yeah.
drones.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. That was awesome knowing. So I'm afraid there are a couple of challenges that are like forcing us to like move forward. Like that was great talking. Like that was great. So having a conversation and the podcast. Like I guess we'll have to end this now. It's like there's a couple of challenges. I hope you had good time, Vikram.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, Aryan. And I think just share the edited version when you upload and publish it with me
Sorry.
as well. And it was lovely having the conversation. And wish you all the best in
Thank
this
you so
journey.
much. We can have a part two anytime in the future if you enjoyed this podcast. Like we can go deep dive into your entrepreneurial journey and a bit more about the drone technology. Anytime when you're
Definitely,
comfortable, let me know.
definitely, Aryan. Thank you
Yeah,
very much for having me, and have
yeah,
a
it
good day.
was yeah, it
Bye.
was a great pleasure having you. Yeah.
It was mine, man. Thank you.